Hi, how are you? Happy Wednesday.
She'll grow up and put on her suits and try to change the world.
So, it is Wednesday, day of my upload, and I am just going to talk about the mental health situations that have been happening with me because, they're just so relevant and they're definitely throwing wrenches in video making and school and things like that. I have the mic set up today, so hopefully the audio is good. It is a very cold and kind of gloomy day today, which, contrary to what you might think, makes me happy. I like these types of days. But I have school today. It's one of my long days, and then I have work tonight. And, So there's been a lot of partner acro content that I was supposed to film this week, but unfortunately Anthony has a cold, so he has been homesick from school, and our partner acro stuff has gotten kind of canceled. So I'm mostly working on solo projects this week, solo work. This is our last week before we go on Thanksgiving break, so I just have today, Thursday, and Friday, and then I'm on break, which I am just absolutely scraping by until then. I am in a much need of a break. Okay, so let's get into what's been going on with me. I posted this video, which, it talked about just that something was going wrong. And, a lot has been going sideways lately. So let me just start with last month. I went on mental health leave from Circadium for a few days. And that was just because my stress and my kind of anxiety was getting really bad. And I was starting to be unable to turn in assignments and things like that, which is shocking because up until this point, one of my coping mechanisms has been overachieving in a sense. And so doing all my work, making sure that that's all taken care of. So it was definitely a big red flag when I started kind of not being able to do that. So I went on mental health leave, which was good. However, I spent that time making up work, so finishing homework assignments that I hadn't turned in, which means it wasn't truly restful. It was more catch-up work. It was still super helpful and needed, but I definitely went back to school not feeling super rested. And so after that, it became November and we went into gala mode, which the gala just happened. And it was just very stressful. We had a lot of crammed extra rehearsals and just lots of stress around that event and classes and things like that. And of course, right now I'm working my thesis. So every 2 weeks I present a thesis and I have a presentation on Friday. And all of that was just really, I think it's been too much for me. I'm dealing with a lot of personal stuff. And I feel like, unfortunately, this topic could be a series because there's a lot of information that you guys don't have based on many reasons. Some of it is like legal, personal, like I can't talk about certain situations yet. And other things are just, some of it is just like a lot of heavy stuff that I'm not super wanting to put on this channel because I want this channel to be a positive space as much as it can be, but I also, above all, want it to be an honest space. So right now I'm dealing with kind of where is the line, what do I want to share, and what can I share? So there have been a lot of kind of things happening that you guys aren't aware of at school or with school that have been really hard on me emotionally. And so over the summer, I was dealing with a lot of that too. And I haven't made a full video about my cat yet, which I should because she's so adorable. But I do have an ESA, so she's an emotional support animal. And she was gotten and trained for me to have here so that I wouldn't be so isolated, and also to have accountability because I think it's really healthy to have to take care of someone else, like a cat, just to keep you accountable and get you up every day, right? So I have my cat, and then over the summer I also was told to get a therapist, and I have since gotten a therapist. But that is in its early stages. So because that's in its early stages, we'll see how that goes. I'm very optimistic about how that's going to help my situation. But I'm currently in therapy. I'm finishing this chunk of school and I go on break next week. So I think we'll just check in and see how I'm doing. But the overall situation, I think, without going into details, is just that I am ready to not be a student anymore. I have a very interesting background. For those of you who don't know, I was homeschooled for all of my grade school years, minus very, very few kind of supplementary programs in performing arts. So for the most part, I was homeschooled, and I started working pretty much like full-time in the circus industry when I was like 15. And so my background is kind of interesting for this type of program. And I definitely am just not about student life anymore. I think that had the last 2 years gone smoother, I probably would not be at this place. But there was a lot of tumultuous situations that happened over the last 2 years with the school or people at the school that have caused me to, really want to move away and be independent back into my kind of everyday life again in Tennessee. And so I've talked about this before, but my plan is I'm moving back to Tennessee as soon as school is over in June. Well, actually July, but it's still as soon as school is over, then I'm moving back for the summer and the foreseeable future. But yeah, so student life is not for me right now, which is sad because I really enjoy the educational side and I love being a student, but the actual lifestyle is just not conducive for my mental health right now because there's so much added stress. And in that last video, the gala video that I was talking about, I did talk about my health issues. And so that's another whole side of things, is that I am struggling with actual like medical health issues right now. And what that is I have had diagnosed eczema for a long, long time, pretty much as long as I can remember in my life. And it is heavily stress triggered. So you can see I look worlds better than I did in the last video because the swelling has gone down. But you can still see all this redness and this kind of like redness around my mouth. And I can show you guys more of my like active patches. So you can see there's this one. The ones on my hands have been pretty bad lately. I have swelling on all my fingers. This is like not the ideal top to show you. But I have this really big patch on my elbow right now that's been super annoying. This one is like, the worst. And then I have really big patches on my back too. And what that kind of is, for people who don't know, is so I have like immune kind of disorders in the sense that my body is attacking itself because of the stress, and it for me manifests in a very compulsive itching. My iPhone just ran out of storage, so I had to move the camera. Hopefully it's somewhere similar. Back to what I was saying, my skin conditions. So the way that it works out is as a coping mechanism when I am anxious or stressed. And I try extremely hard to not do this, but it's a very subconscious thing. I scratch my skin until it cracks and bleeds, pretty much. And so, yeah, it's just extremely itchy and irritated. I am diagnosed with this, and I am prescribed a really low dose steroid cream that helps it kind of not itch so bad. But the problem is we're kind of in like a perfect storm because the cold weather makes my skin worse because, one, the dry heat in buildings and the hot showers and stuff that is associated with winter. Of course, when you're cold, I love taking hot baths and showers, but they are so bad for my skin condition. I'm not supposed to be showering in hot water, but when it's freezing out, what are you supposed to do? And also the dry heat to like heat buildings also doesn't help because it dries out my skin. And then vice versa, going out in the severe cold is not good for the skin. So the climate is not helpful right now, but also it's all triggered by stress. So sometimes it's inactive. So like right now it's inactive, meaning it still is itchy, but it's not like inflamed. Versus when it's like active is when I am under extreme stress. I am crying. I'm whatever. My entire, like the entire patch of where it is will get like red and rashy and inflamed. And it will just be like almost impossible to not scratch at it. And so that's the health stuff I deal with. Along with that, I just have like hypersensitivities to certain things. I was gluten-free for a while when I was younger. I am not gluten intolerant, but gluten is a trigger for my skin. I've just found by like switching up my diet and stuff that my skin does better when I kind of cut out gluten or limit gluten. And so right now I'm gluten free right now. And of course you guys know I'm vegan. That's like an always thing. And so because of my recent situations with the mental health stuff, I've had to cut out gluten, which is sad because like it's delicious and normally I love having it in my diet, but you gotta do what you gotta do when your health is not there. And so yeah, I experienced a lot of swelling in my eyes and stuff like that. So I've been having to ice my face a lot, cut out gluten, drink a lot more water, try to like really limit sodium because sodium also just exacerbates my health issues. And so it's obviously really hard to train circus. It's obviously my skin like cracks and bleeds and hurts a lot. And yeah, I don't know. It's just been a really tough time. I'm kind of just over it all, quite honestly. But I'm hoping just to kind of get through the next few days. I think I'm going to vlog part of it, maybe. And then have this nice break and make some YouTube videos that I feel passionate about, like ones that don't have to do with circadian, but just videos that I want to make, and spend time making them and editing them so that the outcome is something I'm really proud of. And yeah, I think just that time away will be good. There's a lot of circadian content I need to catch up on, like changes with the school and talking about, what it means to be a third year. And there's a lot of that type of content that I want to be documenting and I need to be making for you guys, but it's just such a touchy subject right now. So I'm hoping after break I can kind of compartmentalize, have a healthier outlook on it all, and make some educational content for you. But until then, I have school. I have to go in, solo train, get ready for my thesis presentation on Friday, go back to the belly of the beast, if you will. So I'm going to go do that and edit and upload this. I genuinely love you guys so much. I hope you are doing far better than I, or at least just managing, taking some deep breaths, getting some sunshine or some cloudy skies, and drinking lots of water. I will see you all on Sunday with hopefully a more upbeat video. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I know I talked a ton, but I super appreciate it. And leave me some, jokes in the comments, because that's fun to cope with humor, right? Anyway, okay. I love you all so much. Goodbye.
This little Daisy girl wasn't made to